Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Mariane. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, I am doing a part 2 of my Kuretake Zig Clean color dot markers, where we'll be doing a swatch test, a smudge test, and also testing these out on different weighted paper for ghosting and bleeding. So let's go. If you haven't yet watched part 1 of this Zig Clean color dot marker series, where I go through 5 ways I use these dot markers in my planning, make sure to watch it. I'll have the card up here, so watch that either before or after this. So let's get going. I only have 8 colors in my stationery set, but you can get these in sets of 4, 6 and 12. I'll have details in the description below of the different color ways that Kuretake have these colors available in, but the reason I chose these colors is because it goes well with my color coding. So normally the pink, which is the salmon color, is for me stuff. The purple or hyacinth color is for my family and home stuff. Green, which is the color kiwi, is for planning and budgeting. The orange or island coral is for my side hustle stuff. Yellow or summer sunrise is for my posting on social media. Blue, which is the blue bonnet color, is for my boy stuff. And I did pick up, which is a new one, this ocean color, which is sort of like a teal or aqua, as I needed that for other planning or dot marking for my saving stuff. And then I just have the gray or platinum, which in part 1 I showed you how I use it for my check markers. So very quickly, the Kuretake Zig Clean color dot marker is dual ended. One side is a plastic nib tip, 0.5 millimeters. The other side is a squishy rounded end, where depending on the pressure that you put on the paper will make different size circles. So the lighter the pressure, the smaller the circle, and then the harder the pressure, the bigger the circle. So you can really create 1 to 5 millimeter size circles on your pages. So you can use the fine tip for writing or drawing, and then the dot marking you can also use to help embellish or use as dot markers or check markers on your planning page. Now I have on hand 80 GSM paper, which is your normal copy printing paper that you would get in those reams of 250 or 500, and it's just a nice lightweight. You probably can't see it on here, but it's quite see-through. The next one is 100 GSM weighted paper, 120 GSM and 160 GSM, which is the weighted paper that I use for my planning. So it's just a little bit thinner maybe than cardstock, but it's really quite thick for normal planning. But I love using it because then I don't have to worry about ghosting or bleeding through to the other side. So let's have a look at some swatch tests. So this one is the platinum. Oops, can't spell. So light, medium, heavy. So on an 80 GSM paper, there is bleed through as well as a lot of ghosting. So ghosting is when you see the markings from the other side. So that's your platinum. We have island coral, light, medium, heavy. So the heavier the pressure, more ink will come out. It's the same thing again. A few bleed through on the edges of the circle and quite a bit of ghosting. Next is the summer sun. Light, medium, heavy. So let me see, I don't know, if I take away some of the bright lights. I think that's, sorry, that might be a bit better. So the first one is your Platinum, Island Coral and Summer Sun. Next one is Blue Bonnet. So I'll just fast track through this bit so then I can test it on the other weighted paper. So here you can clearly see the bleed and the ghosting. So this is on the 80 GSM normal copy paper that you would just buy as printer paper. So if you are contemplating on getting dot markers, I wouldn't use an 80 GSM paper if you have writing on the other side, because it will bleed through and you will see quite a bit of ghosting. So next, let's keep that handy over here. Next, let's look at the 100 GSM. And again, I'll just use the dot markers and I'll also do a smudge test. Now, because 100 GSM is quite thin and the texture of the paper isn't slippery, it actually absorbs the ink quite quickly into the grain of the paper. So there's very little smudge. However, if you do use it, let me just grab a notebook that has a smooth coating on the top. So this is my Let's of London icon book dotted journal. So here we are. Let's just do a smudge test of the salmon color. So light, medium, dark. And as you can see, it's smudged right away. So let's try after 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's not too bad. There's a light smudging on the last one, and then of course I'm presuming after 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's very minimal or no smudging at all. So just do a paper test first on the paper you are using with regards to smudge test. So let's just have a look of the 100 GSM. Now these pens, the lid do have this little notch on one side to help it stop rolling. Now my desk is not flat, so I think that side is a little bit lower, so hence why it does roll. But on a flat surface, if it does, see, and I think the back end is, it's one of those adjustable desks where you can heighten or lower the legs, and I guess it's not level. So this is the 100 GSM paper. So that's one side, and then on the other side, so there's actually very minimal bleed through, but as you can see, let me see if that'll focus. No, okay, here we go. It has nothing to focus on, so still quite a bit of, there we go, ghosting. So that's the 100 GSM. Now let's look at 120. So 120 GSM is the 32-pound weighted paper. So if you're, I think in the US they go by pounds. Here in Australia it's by GSM. I think that's gram per square millimeter. I'll double check. So let's have a try of the dotting. I'm trying to put as much pressure on the final one, or the bigger one, so then you can see if there's any bleed through onto the other side. And also the lids here, on the squishy dotted side it's clear, and then the fine tip side it is the color block, so you can easily determine which one is the rounded tip. So what did we say? This is the 120. So it's not too bad. You can still see, let's see if you can, so you can see a bit of ghosting there, but once you have writing on the other side, it wouldn't be as obvious as it is in the 80 where there's bleed through, in the 100, and then in the 120. So let's try the 160. So let's do the platinum, island coral, summer sun, blue bonnet, kiwi, salmon, hyacinth, and ocean. So this is the 160 GSM, which is the weighted paper I use, and you see in my planner reels on Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Mariane Cresp, where I do daily post reels and stories where you can see a lot of these Kuretake Zig Clean color dot markers in action. If you find this video useful on whether to help make you decision whether to get these color dot markers or not, and what weighted paper you need to be using in order to avoid ghosting or bleed through, make sure to like this video and give it a thumbs up. So that is pretty much how it goes in the different weighted paper. So let's just do a smudge test. Because the 160 is a little bit thicker and won't absorb the ink as quickly as the thinner paper, let's quickly do a smudge test. So right away, nothing, and of course the 5-second one will absorb a lot quicker. So again, depending on the page that you use, if it has a smooth surface, where I think a lot of the papers that are fountain pen friendly might have a smoothness to their page. So Let's of London is quite good for, which is fountain pen friendly. So I actually, as you can see on my studies here, even the zebra mild highlighter markers, when I go over my Pentel Energel ink, which is normally doesn't smudge when you highlight over it, on smooth paper the ink stays on top a little bit longer, and so if you highlight or accidentally smudge it or run your fingers over it, it will smudge. So these digital copy paper, the J Burrows brand, the link will be in the description below. They don't smudge using the Kuretake Zig Clean color dot markers. Now let's quickly have a look how it tests when we use it as a highlighter over the Pentel Energel needlepoint ink. So it will mark because it is quite pigmented because I colored in that square. So let me just, and that's on the 160. Let me just remove the pen on there. Smudge test. So yeah, if you are going to use the Zig Clean color dot markers as a highlighter over your pens, it may smudge. The reason is it is quite pigmented. The ink does come out a lot when you are putting pressure. So if you are going to use it as highlighter, just make sure to wait until the ink is dried, and that way you won't get the smudge. So that's it for part 2 of this Zig Clean Kuretake color dot marker series. I'm hoping later down the track maybe I can get the other colors in the range and then that way I can do a part 3 and do a test and review of those colors. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, hit that bell to get notifications of when I upload new videos. Thank you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.